Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a super fascinating 2026 study by Mujtaba and Lawrence from Nova Southeastern University. If you've been watching the corporate world lately, you know the workplace isn't just a physical building anymore, right? It's literally a dynamic, living ecosystem. And today we're going to explore exactly how that ecosystem is fundamentally shifting. We're looking at how hybrid work, something so many of us do every single day, is doing way more than just cutting down our commute time. It's actually acting as a massive catalyst for sustainable development and the green transition.
Okay, let's dive into this, because we really need to challenge some preconceived notions here. For a long time, the whole narrative around remote and hybrid work was pretty simplified. It was the crisis response, right? The era of taking Zoom calls in your sweatpants. A lot of leaders treated it as this temporary perk that was eventually going to fade away. But the big question we have to ask ourselves now is that all it is? Or is hybrid work actually the key to simultaneously saving the planet and our own sanity?
To answer that, we have to look at a really fundamental contrast. The old view treated hybrid work as just this post-pandemic comfort, a temporary HR policy designed just to keep people happy in the short term. But the new realization, and this is heavily supported by the data we're about to look at, is that hybrid work is actually a strategic sustainability model. It's a fundamental shift toward long-term global sustainability. It's completely changing how organizations consume resources and how employees sustain their own well-being. So here is our roadmap for the Explainer today. First, we'll look beyond the remote work trend. Second, we'll go inside the 2026 study. Third, we'll break down the 5 pillars of future work. Fourth, we're driving the green transition. And finally, leading the hybrid ecosystem. Just think of this as navigating the interconnected layers of a vibrant ecological system where every single piece affects the whole shebang.
Okay, Section 1, Beyond the Remote Work Trend. We are officially evolving the narrative from where we work to how we work. According to the research, hybrid work has totally evolved. It is definitely no longer just some alternative crisis arrangement. It has transformed into an expected core organizational design principle. Organizations are finally realizing that flexible work structures actually let them maintain operational efficiency while giving employees the autonomy they crave. It's now a primary driver of organizational resilience. It allows companies to adapt to future uncertainties while meeting the evolving expectations of today's modern workforce. Moving into Section 2, Inside the 2026 study. To really understand this shift, let's look at some data from graduate students in a specialized human resource management course at Nova Southeastern University. We really want to capture the perspectives of emerging professionals here. Now, the study features a highly focused sample size of 21 participants. And hey, before you dismiss this as just a tiny academic group, it is absolutely critical to understand who these 21 people actually are. These aren't just theoreticians sitting in a library. These are working adult students. They have diverse employment backgrounds, and they are actively navigating the workforce ecosystem right now. Whether that's on-site, remote, or hybrid, they are literally living the data.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the demographic breakdown. 81% of our respondents identify as female and 19% as male. And this composition is actually pretty frequently observed in graduate-level HR management programs. So what this means for us is that we are looking directly at the perspectives of emerging HR leaders. These are the very people who will be writing the policies and shaping the data for the organizations of tomorrow.
And wow, their experience is deep. We've got 14.3% having 11 to 19 years of experience and 28.6% with 20 or more years. To put that into perspective, over 40% of these respondents have been in the workforce for over a decade. They have incredibly established careers. Their qualitative survey responses aren't based on hypotheticals at all. They are grounded in deep, real-world reality, which gives massive weight to their expectations of the future workplace.
All right, Section 3, 5 pillars of future work. Through a thematic analysis of these working professionals' responses, the study identified 5 principal dimensions that are shaping future workplace expectations. Let's do a rapid-fire deep dive into these 5 pillars. Pillar number 1, work-life balance. Flexibility emerged as the absolute dominant preference in the study, hands down. Respondents consistently identified hybrid work structures and flexible scheduling as the critical mechanisms for balancing their professional responsibilities with personal well-being. It's really about aligning work hours with peak productivity and just reducing the massive stress of a rigid location-based existence. Moving to pillar number 2, professional development. Organizations simply have to nurture their ecosystem. The participants made it very clear that flexibility alone, it's just not enough.
Organizations have to provide equitable access to continuous learning, mentorship, and career advancement for both remote and on-site staff. Because honestly, without clear pathways for growth, even the most flexible environment is going to fail to retain highly motivated talent. So the crucial point here is that absolutely none of this works without pillar number 3, inclusive leadership. Effective hybrid workplaces rely so heavily on transparent, empathetic leadership to just maintain cohesion. The respondents expressed a really strong preference for supportive managers who encourage employee input and treat everyone fairly, regardless of whether they are sitting in the corporate office or their home office. Next up, pillar number 4 is a collaborative culture. This data completely challenges the old assumption that physical proximity is required for a strong culture. It's just not. Intentional collaboration and mutual respect are what build trust across distributed teams. When leaders intentionally foster communication and inclusion, the culture thrives across both physical and digital spaces.
And finally, pillar number 5, psychological safety. Imagine an employee sitting in a virtual meeting. They have a completely radical idea, or maybe a really serious concern about a project. Psychological safety is exactly what empowers them to unmute their microphone and speak up without any fear of retribution or being ignored. The study highlights that this feeling of safety is what sparks true innovation. Maintaining it across digital platforms is a very deliberate, necessary practice for modern organizations.
Section 4. Driving the green transition. We have arrived at the climax of our explainer. How do these human-centric pillars actually connect to overarching global sustainability goals? How does hybrid work drive the green transition? And this brilliantly illustrates the big picture. The study places hybrid work directly within a triple bottom-line framework. On one side, we have environmental sustainability, which means drastically reducing commuting-related carbon emissions and optimizing energy consumption. And on the flip side, we have social sustainability, growing human resilience, reducing work-family conflict, and improving employee retention. So we are shrinking our carbon footprint while simultaneously expanding human well-being. It's a total win-win. Practically speaking, the green implementation of this transition means moving away from those daily, energy-draining maximum occupancy buildings. Instead, organizations can redesign their real estate into strategic, low-energy collaborative hubs. Think about it. These spaces are used intentionally for high-value, in-person interactions, rather than just a place people commute to so they can sit at a desk and send emails. It's a deliberate strategy for reducing an organization's environmental footprint. Finally, Section 5, leading the hybrid ecosystem. As we transition into this highly flexible, technologically driven future, we absolutely must address the vital human element. As organizations adopt AI to recruit and manage these distributed teams, the study drops this heavy, crucial academic insight. I'll read it directly. AI hallucination and bias in employee selection or promotion are fundamentally a management and human resource responsibility rather than solely a technology problem. Think about that for a second. Algorithms don't create values. They just amplify existing historical biases. If we treat AI bias as just some minor software glitch, we completely undermine the trust and fairness that hybrid workplaces depend on. Let's move to and see how this builds. In the ideal hybrid workplace, technology and human HR judgment absolutely must collaborate. HR professionals have to be the stewards of responsible AI use. That means auditing tools, setting ethical guidelines, and ensuring that whether an employee is fully remote or on-site every day, they have an equitable, bias-free opportunity to succeed. Which leaves us with this final, provocative question to take away today. Based on the 2026 data, hybrid work isn't just about personal flexibility anymore. It's a structural transformation for environmental and social sustainability. So take a look at your own workplace ecosystem. Are you operating on a temporary HR policy, or are you strategically driving the green transition?